In the previous video, we already discussed appreciation and depreciation of a currency. Now here, let's discuss the economic influences of them, okay, of the appreciation or depreciation, and say, which one between the two is more preferred or desirable for whom. Okay, and here it's a very basic discussion, so we're not gonna use any kind of the sophisticated mathematics or graphical tools. Okay, and instead here, because as I said, this is just an intro chapter for exchange rate and foreign exchange markets. So here I just want to use a very simple hypothetical example, okay, numerical example. Now, first of all, let's look at how much does a Japanese-made Honda Civic cost in the US, okay? Remember, because this is a Japanese-made, so our calculation got to be built upon its price in Japan, in other words, in yen, right? So first of all, if the exchange rate between USD and JPY was 0.0086 dollars per yen last year, and the sticker price of the Honda Civic in Japan is 3.5 million, then we can do this multiplication to figure out its price in the US should be $30,100, right? And here, suppose this year the current rate becomes 0.0078 US dollars per yen. In other words, here we're saying that Japanese yen depreciates, right? Because each yen would be able to exchange fewer units of US dollars, right? So yen depreciates and the US dollar appreciates, okay? Now here we do the same calculation. Suppose its price in Japan stays the same, 3.5 million yen times 0.0078 dollars per yen. So we find that the price, the dollar price becomes 27,300 in the US. Okay. Now here, I would like to ask you guys to compare these two dollar prices and trying to figure out, is this good or bad for whom? Okay. And you can talk about both in the US and in Japan. Okay. And bring your thoughts to our class, we will discuss that. Okay. All right. Now here, let's take a look at another numerical example. How much does an American-made Ford Lightning cost in Japan? So Ford Lightning is a new electric car, pickup truck Ford made. Okay, and it's expected to bring a lot of revenue for Ford in the next few years. Now, because this is American made, so we're gonna do our calculation on the basis of the dollar price in the US. Okay. All right. Suppose the rate last year was 116 Japanese yen per US dollar. Now remember, I'm sorry. Please know that this rate is exactly the same as this one up here. Okay, but we just use the other way to express this or to quote the rate. Okay. You can double check this by yourself and see if they're the same. Okay, I believe my math is correct here. All right, so if the US in the US the dollar price for this pickup truck is $50,000, then we multiply it by 116 yen per dollar. So you should be able to find that the price in Japan is supposed to be 5.8 million yen, okay, last year. Now, suppose this year the rate becomes 128 yen per dollar. Again, the same as the previous one up here. Okay, it's just quoted the other way around. And then we do the multiplication and find that this year the price should be 6.4 million yen in Japan. Okay, once again, I would ask you guys to think about, or compare these two prices in Japan and trying to figure out, is this good or bad for whom? Again, you're supposed to think about both in Japan and in US when we talk about, who is going to benefit or get hurt because of this change in exchange rate. Okay, and bring your thoughts to class. We're gonna discuss these. Okay, and here I have another real world NPR podcast I want to share with you. Okay, during the class. Here on this slide, what we're talking about is the influence of appreciation or depreciation upon the international transactions of goods and services, right? So, in other words, its influence upon exports and imports, right? But remember, as we already discussed in the previous chapter, other than the current account transactions, we also have the financial account transactions. So we should also look at, the influence upon the assets, right? All right, now let's take a look at this. We're going to follow the very similar way to discuss these, but just, the focus is upon the assets, okay, domestic assets versus foreign assets. All right, so first of all, let's look at how much does a Honda share. So this is a stock, okay, issued at Tokyo Stock Exchange cost in the US. So here we're looking at the foreign assets in Japan, right? And we're trying to figure out how much that would cost in the United States under different exchange rates, okay? Once again, last year the rate was $0.0086 per yen, okay? And so the stock price we found in Japan was $4,000 per share. I'm sorry, 4,000 yen per share, okay? And then we multiplied by the rate and find that the dollar price should be $34.40 per share. All right, this is for last year. And this year, because of the depreciation of Japanese yen, and we find that the price for this year should be $31.20. Okay, again, we use the same yen price, 4,000 times the new exchange rate to find the new dollar price. Okay, once again, I would encourage you guys to think about, based upon the comparison between these two dollar prices, is this good or bad for whom? Okay, so who is going to be the winner? Who is going to be the loser? Okay, bring your thoughts to class. All right, then let's take a look at a domestic asset in the U.S. Okay, so here we're looking at, how much does a Ford share issued at the New York Stock Exchange cost in Japan. Okay, now here, because it's a domestic asset in U.S., so our calculation got to be based upon the U.S. dollars, okay, or the dollar price. If the rate was 116 Japanese yen per dollar last year, again, the same rate as above, okay, then we find that, for this Ford share, the price last year is $15 per share. We times this rate, then we would be able to find in Japan, the price should be 1,740 yen per share, all right? And this year, the rate, the U.S. dollars appreciates, and per dollar, we can get 128 yens, right? So we do the calculation, $15, again, the same dollar price times the new exchange rate. And we find that the stock price in Japan should be $1,000, $1,920. I'm sorry, 1,920 yen, okay, per share, of course. Again, who is going to be the winner? Who is going to be the loser? Okay, and because of what? Okay, so bring your thoughts to class. Okay, we're going to discuss this. All right, so up to this point, we already finished our discussion about the exchange rate basics. Remember here, these are just basics. Okay, we talk about the definition, different ways of quotation, and appreciation and depreciation. Okay? In other words, when we say, a currency becomes strong or weak, what exactly we meant, okay, by that. And here in this video, we briefly talk about the economic influence of a change in exchange rate upon the transactions of goods, services, and assets across border. All right. And in the next video, we're going to start talking about the next thing in this chapter, which is foreign exchange market. All right.